Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is again, no surprise here, Defub21, and I've got some news for you. Some wonderful news I'm sure you'll be hugely, massively delighted by. Yes, the lovely people at Bethesda have decided to start talking about the DLC, that's digital content, digital download content for Fallout 4, which at 70, let's see, 70, quick here, me being terribly slow. At 77 hours in total of me playing it, I have yet to complete the main story. So just gives you an idea of how much of a time sink this game is. But they've decided it is now. I mean, it's still only, again, not nowhere near finished the main story. At 77 hours in of playing it, because I've been wandering around the place and exploring the wastelands, as it were, trying to find everything and hoard everything I can. Bethesda has now decided to start talking about the digital download content that will be available for the game. There was a season pass available from certainly at the game's launch, which is currently advertised on Steam for the atrocious price, certainly in my neck of the woods, of €29.99. That is €30 for a season pass. Now, I'll get to the atrociousness of that and my feelings on that in a moment, as it is vis-a-vis the price of it. But the news coming out of Bethesda is, well, firstly, there are, it seems, 3 pieces of DLC coming. Those DLC packs are named respectively Wasteland Workshop, Automatron, and finally Far Harbor. The individual prices, I got the money here in dollars, so that I'm looking up here, but apparently Automatron will be $9 or $10 basically on its own. Wasteland Workshop will be relatively cheap at $4.99 on its own. And Far Harbor, which apparently is like a set in this, actually adds a new area to the map and is therefore somewhat larger scale and more involved in its creation, will be $24.99. Again, those are dollar prices. I assume it'll be something similar in euros. But the real kind of thing that is really pushing my buttons, as I've already said, the season pass as it stands is 30 quid. I have not purchased it, but along with this announcement of all this wondrous content that Bethesda is going to be releasing for this game, they've also announced that from the 1st of March, which at this stage is less than a month away, the season price, the purchase price of the season pass will be going from $29.99 to $60 in the United States, and I would imagine it'll be something similar here in Eurozone land. Now, whether it'll be the same price on console as on Steam, I don't know, and it doesn't give Steam specific pricing here, so maybe it'll be maybe a little bit less, maybe it'll be $59.99 or something like that, or maybe it'll be $49.99 or something like that. I think it's more likely, considering it's already, the season pass is already $29.99, that it will be a full €60. It is now the 6th, at the time of recording this, it is now the 16th of February 2016. If we were having a conversation about DLC and season passes on a console and on PC a mere, at this stage, not even 3 years ago, I mean, if we're talking 2013, because again, late 2013 or even in 2012, season pass prices were usually around, at the height, were usually between $14.99 for, say, your Call of Duty map pack, something like that, to maybe a maximum of $19.99, in other words, 20 quid for a season pass. And over the last couple of years, certainly once the 360 and the PlayStation 3 have been put to bed, the price of these season passes has skyrocketed, very, very dramatically. If you wanted to buy, get all the content, as a prime example, for the most recent Star Wars Battlefront game, I think you had to pay the game plus the whatever the collector's, the digital premium version with all the content, season pass, and so on, with plus a few little extras, was like €120. And now we're in a situation where Fallout 4 right now is on Steam is $59.99, and if you want the season pass on top, that's another going to be 30 quid, so 60, that's €90. And what's effectively going to happen is they're going to double the price of the season pass come the 1st of March, which means you will be paying a grand total of €120 for Fallout 4 and its season pass. And that's just, what this has effectively done is it's effectively double the price of these games, whether they're also, crucially, whether they're on, not just on console, but also on PC. As I've mentioned in a couple of other videos I've done, current gen games here in little old Ireland are an average running at retail, and bricks and mortars retail shops are running around typically 75 quid. When they were typically on 360 and PS3, they were usually around 60, maybe 65 maximum. So you've seen an extra 15 quid on the price of increase in price on games. And frankly, certainly in the case of the Xbox One and the PS4, I haven't really seen any games that genuinely justify such a significant price increase. Fallout 4 is a huge step over Fallout 3 and Skyrim. But is it enough to justify an extra 15 quid? And this is just, this is mad. I'm in, I paid 20 quid for the season pass, or maybe it was on sale and I got it for 15 for all the extra content for The Last of Us, which I thought was a great, fantastic game, and the content, all the extra multiplayer maps, were, and the extra single player content were all fantastic. And I really enjoyed it. But there's a big difference between charging, 15, 20 quid for your DLC and going to, 30 and now 60. At $29.99, most indie games, even bigger budget ones, like say Darkest Dungeon, which came out relatively recently, they're not that expensive. So even a bigger budget indie game is now cheaper, not just in a full price retail game, but actually just the season pass that comes with that retail game. And I don't know what the hell is going on either. The Xbox One, the PS4, something of a jump over the 360 and PS3, although considering the time gap between the two machines both generations releases, almost 10 years, the gap is not as big as some would like, including myself for that matter. But divvying out this kind of money for, I cannot see, either in terms of the multi-platform games that are out on both PC and console, I cannot see, a big enough jump in quality of graphics or the scale involved to justify. The cost of making these games has not doubled. Fallout 4 did not cost $200 million to make, plus advertising and distribution on top. I certainly can't see how 3 pieces of DLC, and the biggest of which again is named Far Harbor. Far Harbor is not going to increase the size of the world you can explore by 50%. Or anything like that, compared to what you get in Fallout 4 already. So how can you justify what is effectively, as far as I can tell, I haven't read much of the details, I'm afraid. If you heard that ping, that was my dinner telling me it is ready to be eaten or turned over, one or the other. But I cannot for the life of me, there's not going to be enough content between the workshop pack, this automatron pack, which apparently adds the ability to build robot companions, and you can hunt robots across the wastelands and destroy them and scavenge their parts and use them to build robots and build robot companions. How that, which again one would imagine is basically just within the existing game world that's already been created. Same with the workshop pack and Far Harbor. I cannot understand how that's not going to be the same amount of effort or the same amount of time as it took to make Fallout 4 itself, and I cannot understand how they think they can justify charging 60 quid for it. It really, really is, to my mind, it really, really is crazy. absolutely and utterly crazy. And it's not just Fallout 4. I mean, if I look at some of the other games that have yet to be completed, again, Witcher 3. Let's look at the store page for that on Steam. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and the expansion pass is a bit cheaper at $24.99. But the number of games that are now pushing out 20, where 20 quid has now become the low end for season passes for DLC content is just crazy, and I cannot understand. I mean, again, it's 60 quid. We're not going to get this season pass is not getting us the same amount of content as is in Fallout 4 itself. The standard copy you can now buy for 60 quid. So how can they justify charging the same money again for what will be nowhere near as much content? It's absolutely mad, and I can't see how they're getting away with it. And you're now getting, as I said, $24.99 for the Witcher 3 expansion pass. There may be, who knows how much. I've seen, I can't name them off the top of my head, but I've seen so many of these lately, and it is absolutely bonkers. You cannot justify, I don't know what the hell. I mean, if you want, maybe it's just me being, old man, complaining. I mean, I can remember in the day, back in my day, when PC games would get free support in terms, not just in terms of patches, but in terms of extra content and so on, for potentially years after they came out, just to continue to drive sales. And now it's turning into this, okay, we want 50% of the price that you paid up front for the game for a season pass for 12 months of content, which will not be equivalent to half the game you've already played and consumed. And now they're asking for the same money again for the season pass for season pass for Fallout 4, and you're not going to get an entire Fallout 4's worth of content for that 60 quid. This is pushing my buttons, and frankly really, really vexes me. I mean, I might do what I did with BioShock Infinite, which is I'll wait till the season pass can be bought for cheap, say 50% off or more. Well, actually it's 60 quid, 50% off will just be $29.99. It'll have to be more like 70% off plus, if I even do go out and buy it. I mean, I didn't get my hands on the Fallout 3 DLC for probably a year after I purchased the game, because the game was just so big and I just sank so much time into it. I mean, how can I go through even more? But 60 quid for a season pass. Now, maybe I'll end up eating my metaphorical hat. Maybe, just maybe, there'll be just as much content represented by the season pass as was actually in Fallout 4 itself. But somehow I doubt it. And, this is slippery slope there, people. I'd be, again, anyone thinking I'm excited about going out to buy this, I'd wait and see till we see the content, see the reviews for it, and see if it's worth it. But this is, and again, the question has to be asked, if this is a lot of content, considering the game only came out, what was it, November last year. I doubt they started working on this content after the game was released. This probably is content, again, one of the other kind of real kind of things that tends to really push people's buttons who don't like or have issues with DLC is, the fact that a lot of this DLC was in development before the game came out, or was actually originally planned to be part of the game and was then just lopped off to become DLC. My own personal case of this that really drove me around the bend was in Mass Effect 3, where the Promethean character, spoiler warning, that you could get as a teammate was made DLC, even though the Prometheans were this massive part of the kind of the Mass Effect, backstory and Mass Effect universe, and yet, a real kind of core element, and it was a hugely interesting subject matter within the game. And if you're really big into the game, Promethean character, and this guy was ready to go as DLC from the moment the game came out. They intentionally chopped him out of the game specifically to target and kind of exploit the kind of the hardcore Mass Effect fans, to kind of gouge them for an extra little bit of money just to get their hands on the Promethean character and the associated interactions with him, and you'd learn all about the Prometheans and the missions you went on with him. It's absolutely that, again, it's one of the key reasons why even after they fixed the end of the game, again, I did not like the end of the game at all, as what fell into that camp, why I never went back to play it after I completed it. It just really just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I think this may well be another case, particularly with the larger one, the larger part of the expansion, again, whose name I forget, so I'll quickly check again. Far Harbor. This may well have been in development for quite some time before the game came out, and it's just a case of, well, how do we, gouge the customer for more money? We'll just lob this off part of the game, make it DLC, and we'll see how many rubes we're able to trick into buying it. But again, I could go on and on at this, and I don't want. I'm already at, again, too long at this stage to continue going on. I could go 20 minutes or more if I really wanted to. But yeah, this is. I don't agree with this. I think $29.99 for a season pass is pushing it a bit. I'd say there's a good chance that this, certainly the Far Harbor may well have been originally planned to be part of the game in the first place, and then got cut out before the game's development was finished, and is now being offered to us as DLC. But if you really do insist, if you have the money to burn, go out and buy the season pass now, if you have to insist on doing it, because at 60 quid, I do not believe you're going to get 60 quid's worth of content out of this season pass. I really don't. Oh, this is Defub21, very, very irked right now. Signing off. Toodaloo.